Hello, FutureFoodCast listeners. Welcome to another episode of our podcast where we talk to thought leaders all about innovation, trends, and technology that are happening in the food space. And today I'm really excited to have with us Craig Turner. He's the Executive Director of Edge Innovation Hub and the COO of Agápe Automation. And he does a lot of things in the food space. Welcome to the podcast, Craig.
Thanks, Pam. It's great to be here. Really excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited to go through some of the things that you're doing and what's happening over there really at Agápe Automation. But explain to me about the two companies and how they cooperatively work together. Let's jump into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, two job titles and two unique future of food focused businesses that we are running right out of Columbus, Ohio. The story has to start with Jim Grody, who started Donato's Pizza in Columbus, Ohio in 1963. He's really the visionary behind so many businesses and so many innovations and inventions. And he's the reason that I'm here talking to you. And Donato's Pizza, we share a campus with, as well as the Grody company that makes industrial food processing equipment, worldwide business. And so Donato's, which started, as I said, in 1963, always looking for innovation in the restaurant and pizza space. Jim started one of the first edge-to-edge pizzas and thin crust, which was relatively new at the time. Also, 100 pieces of pepperoni on pizza, which was very new at the time.
What? 100 pieces of pepperoni on
100 on a large pizza. Yeah. So, and that'll come back up when we talk about some of the innovations that Agápe Automation is working on with our Smart Pep. Jim, created this restaurant really with the idea of doing business the right way, doing business with love, treating others as he wanted to be treated, the golden rule, and doing the right thing in business. And that's how he decided he was going to run all of his businesses. And that value system is very much at the core of who we are. As Jim was, running this pizza shop, he bought or started the first Donato's when he was 19 years old. So, this is a driven individual who started very young. And he would lay in bed at night and think about, I've got these 100 pieces of pepperoni that I'm putting on a large pizza. And he was in the back of his restaurant slicing a piece of pepperoni from a pepperoni stick and putting it onto the pepperoni or onto the pizza one at a time. Now you can imagine what your day looks like if you're doing that 100 times for one pizza. So he's laying in bed thinking there has to be a better way. And so he kept dreaming up ways that he could solve this problem. And as it turned out, he developed and really invented this machine, which Jim is not an engineer, but he certainly thinks like one. He dreamed up this machine called the Pep-O-Matic that automated the process of slicing pepperoni from sticks and applying it directly to pizzas. So, you've got everybody kind of laughing at Jim. Oh, you got this machine. And of course, springs are shooting out everywhere and it's not working quite right, but he will not stop. And he eventually created a product that became very significant in the frozen food space. And when they were able to automate that piece of equipment, the Pep-O-Matic, it really launched the Grody company. And this is 50 years ago. And now Grody company is just continuously growing in this industrial automation space. But Jim never let go of this dream of bringing that same type of innovation and automation to the restaurant space. And so in 2019, we opened the Edge Innovation Hub. And this was a building that Jim had dreamed as a space for innovation that would fuel the future of food and also fuel the future of his companies, Donato's and the Grody company. So when I came on board, one of our first missions was to really bring the businesses together and create a growth mindset with those businesses. And my background is in design and design thinking and design research and development. And so it was a perfect fit for me to be thinking about innovation process and growth mindset. And it wasn't long before Jim found a way to start doing the same thing that he did with the Pep-O-Matic, but to focus on sauce. And so, by some very interesting turn of events, found a young gentleman named Hayden who started working with Jim on development of the Smart Saucer. And that was the first product that kind of created a hint of what we would do in the future with Agápe Automation.
Wow. Now let's back up a little bit. This is how innovation happens. You've got, well, Jim obviously is a really unique individual and has enabled, all of this to happen. But really, the innovation, when somebody starts thinking about there's got to be a better way, we have to be able to, this repetitive process of cutting the pepperoni and then putting it on the pizza.
Right.
And it is very much repetitive. You're doing the same thing every time. But he didn't have the wherewithal. He didn't have the engineering background to figure out how to make that work. So I'm sure the initial machines were, a little crazy. That you were talking about springs going everywhere. It made me laugh in the background on that.
Right.
But then he finally got some people who could do that piece of it, right, to help make that become a reality. And he moved on to sauce. So this young guy, Hayden, obviously is the one with the know-how on that. So what's the status there? I mean, we're on to our next innovation, invention, all to benefit the food space. Lots of benefits we'll talk about in a minute, but.
So, I think one of the amazing things in our times, this is a great time to be alive. We gotta admit. And Jim is constantly fascinated by how fast things can move today because of all of our new technology. And he loves it, because that Pep-O-Matic, when he was developing it, you would have to wait a week, 2 weeks, or a month for a machine shop somewhere in town to make a piece or a part. These small little incremental changes that need to be made in innovation, which come from testing, from prototyping, from trying. Let's try it this way. Let's try it that way. Those little changes stack up over time when you're waiting on somebody to make the next evolution of that part. But these days we have, at this point, I don't even know how many 3D printers we have running at the edge. And all those 3D printers have the ability to create test parts, really sometimes in a matter of a couple hours. And so our team of engineers can develop some new thing and get it into action right away. We also,
I'm sorry, Craig, to interrupt you. That really changes how quickly you can innovate, because you need to be able to test out the ideas, and that just shortens the whole time frame.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really think, this is maybe a little off onto another subject, but the software ability, the technology that we have today, it just moves so fast because, you can code the fix sometimes in a matter of seconds. And AI, artificial intelligence, is just going to build on that ability to even improve things before we even get a chance to get our hands in it. And so all these things are moving so fast, and it creates some problems in some ways over here, but on the whole, we are rapidly increasing our ability to feed all of the new people that we're going to need to feed that are coming into this planet, because we're going to go from 6 billion to 7 billion to 8 billion to 9 billion people, and all those people are going to be hungry. And we're gonna have pizza for them. So
you're gonna have pizza.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, back to the saucer from our little side jaunt there.
Yes. So I think on that idea of technology and where we're going, we have so much ability to collect data on these machines or from these machines, and hence we call it the smart saucer. We call it the smart saucer for a reason, because it gives us the ability to know what's happening with that machine. And just a simple example, we can tell from afar, really anywhere from the world, whether a machine is turned on or turned off. We can tell if the machine has been cleaned. We can tell if the machine has dispensed this much sauce on this many pizzas. That's some pretty interesting information that we want to know, and that our operators want to know, and really gives them the ability to know if they're getting the ROI from that machine. And if you can tell it's on or off, that's a good indication. And the other thing is they're able to start gaining all kinds of pieces of information that can help create a more efficient restaurant space. And so this kind of line of thought that I'm going down is just one piece in this really big story of how technology and really the platform that we're developing, shouldn't be any surprise we're calling it the smart platform. I think of the smart platform that we're developing as a puzzle board, and the smart saucer, the smart pep that we're developing, the smart cheeser, the smart cutter, and a lot of other pieces of equipment, some that we might not even know about yet, are going to come together as puzzle pieces on this platform puzzle board, and give us the opportunity to really help a pizza operation create exponential efficiencies, and in the goal towards exponential growth.
Yeah. And
So,
your market is everywhere. I mean, there's a pizza place everywhere. Now I know Donato's is like the main
absolutely.
tester of all this, but
Yeah.
certainly sharing the wealth, because really, especially in the restaurant space, let's
Mhm.
talk about some of the things that this automation can help. I mean, the number one cost for, let's use a pizza place, for example, for Donato's, is the people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And
Labor. It's the number one thing.
yeah, so if
Yeah.
you can take some of those repetitive things that the labor that you're hiring is doing and put them on activities that require them, their
Mhm.
brains and some decision making along the way, and let the repetitive non-decision making activities be taken over by automation,
Yeah.
you're able to just leverage your employees a lot better.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've learned so much through the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's really been an incredible accelerator of life on this planet in so many different ways. We're speeding towards new horizons, and we knew before the pandemic that labor was the number one problem that was facing restaurant operators,
Right.
and we knew that pizza operators are having a really hard time growing because of the costs of labor. And of course, jobs and the availability of jobs is a hot button issue in the U.S., probably everywhere, of course, right? And we're obsessed with jobs, but we don't talk a lot about quality jobs. And we really want to focus on the quality of the job. And our whole concept behind Agápe Automation is to automate with love, and we want to make the kitchen a better place. We want to make the job a better job. We want to make the team a better team, and the business a better business. And we believe that automation and the technology that we're building is a sure way to get there. And so, we're doing everything that we can to help turn some of those jobs that are repetitive, that are dirty, that are dangerous, that are really dull jobs, and make them a better job that somebody would actually want to do. The pandemic really woke people up to the labor crisis and how bad that it was, and that it was really in their face when they couldn't get their pizza because their pizza shop was closed. because there was nobody there to work.
You're exactly right about that. And
Yeah.
I think you are right on with the automation and the effect that it can have. I know you probably saw some of that as you have rolled out some of these prototypes. Can you share with us what that experience was like? How did people react?
Yeah, it's been, it's been so hard, especially, it was a really tough time on Donato's, the pandemic, as you can imagine. Not only were people afraid of getting sick or spreading illness to their family members, but it was just there was just all kinds of problems with getting to work, with availability of folks. I mean, just on and on. We actually started our first pilot of the Smart Saucer in May of 2020.
Oh my goodness.
And so, I was masked up with Hayden and some of our team members in these stores working with these folks. As I would expect, any environment, especially when you've got operators that have been running stores for decades. And, Donato's is a great company, and you've got people who've been working with Donato's for 30, 40, 50 years, so it's you've got folks who've been doing things a certain way, and we know people don't like change. And so we bring in this machine all of a sudden, and it's like, well, what's this? I can sauce a pizza faster than that thing can, and maybe they could in the beginning, but that's not the point. The point is you can do something else while the saucer is saucing. In fact, after the first few times, it's kind of cool to watch, but after that, nobody needs to watch the saucer sauce, So you can go prep that next pizza. You can take the pizza that's ready to go to the oven and take it down the line. There's all these things you can do. We like to think that the saucer cuts out about half the time it takes to sauce, but I think it's much greater than that when you really create that extra time. It's really the time of taking the pizza, setting it on the tray, hitting go, and that's it. That's the time it takes to sauce a pizza, because you're off doing the next thing.
Right. You're essentially buying that time back. You're not just
absolutely
you're not saving it. You're able to assign that to another job that keeps things moving.
Right. Yeah. We are not removing jobs at all. We are reallocating time to tasks that can help grow the business.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep doubling down on that idea again and again and again until we've got just a growth operation that helps pizza operators really blast off.
Well, what did those people say that at first we're saying, oh, I can sauce better or faster or whatever than the saucer? Like after they experienced it, what did they think?
Yeah. So we've had some converts, Pam, and it's been good. Yeah, we some of those skeptics in the beginning, which again, completely understandable. And they were prototypes too. There were some kinks we had to work through, as always. You gotta get to test, and you gotta try it out and keep making it better. But we've had folks that have told us that they wouldn't work in a store that didn't have a smart saucer. And we've had folks tell us that, that working that going from a store that had a smart saucer into a store that doesn't have a smart saucer was kind of an archaic experience. Don't
you love that? Is that just not exactly why you're doing what you're doing? Yeah,
absolutely. It comes down to helping the operator, and if we can delight them, if we can make their day a little better, if we can help them do their job, then that absolutely makes us very happy. And of course, it's a mutual benefit, which is a really cool thing. And that goes right back to automating with love. If we can help pizza operators, if we can help Donato's, they're going to help us, because they'll be asking us for more.
Right. And I have to say, you are going to experience some pressure to move outside of Donato's Pizza. I'm just already thinking that there are other operators that are going to be willing to buy into your technology, and essentially you're going to raise the whole level of that segment of the food business, really. Allow that automation to help them maximize their resources in a really great way.
And we're open to that. Oh,
What's
sorry,
the
go ahead.
future look like? I
Yeah,
mean,
so
you have a lot
great.
happening.
Yeah, great point. And it's always tricky when you have a such a strong family business like Donato's. My business partner and our CEO, Tom Grody, CEO of Agápe Automation. He's also Jim Grody's son. He's also the brother of Jane Grody Abel, who runs Donato's. And so there's so many great family connections. There's even third generation family members who are coming in. And so, we've got a strong family connection and great, amazing people. And, the holders of these values that I talk about, this idea of leading with love and the golden rule and doing the right thing. And, as much as we are partnered with Donato's, we all understand and have a sense that everyone's going to benefit if we're able to serve other pizza operators. We're going to be able to learn more, do more, grow more, and that's going to help everybody. And again, the story comes back to Jim Grody. He has always had that business growth mentality. That's how he approached the Pep-O-Matic. It wasn't just for Donato's. It was for the world of pizza operators, including the frozen food industry. And a quick little story, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
When Jim started Donato's on the south side of Columbus, there was other little mom and pop pizza shops around town, and they all knew each other, and they would all get together and talk about their challenges, and they would support each other. And sometimes I think about the view of business that I had growing up, and it wasn't always positive. This kind of dog eat dog world, this kind of competitive landscape where you are kind of encouraged to take every opportunity to stomp somebody down, to lift yourself up, kind of that schoolyard mentality of kids bullying other kids, and it doesn't feel good. And there's a better way, really. We can gain as much through partnership as we can through competition. And in fact, healthy competition is awesome, because I might root for my competitor, but I still want to be better than them. I want to be the best I can be.
Absolutely.
So Jim would have a pizza operator from down the block call up and say, "Hey, Jim, I just ran out of cheese. I'm not going to be able to fulfill my orders. I don't know what to do. Can you help out?" And Jim would send one of his employees down the street with a big box of cheese, and they would help each other out,
Yeah.
And that kind of mentality puts the kind of energy into the world that we want to be a part of. It just comes down to this, choosing who you want to be and standing up for that. And so that same mentality is the way that we approach our technology and our smart machines. And the future of Agápe Automation is, of course, with Donato's, they are our number one customer, and that hopefully never changes. But we're open to working with other operators. We've had some really great conversations with some other operators, and really excited to see how we can push the technology for other needs, because there is so much, even that you think pizza's pizza, but maybe you don't, but some people might think pizza's pizza, but there's so many nuances between styles of pizza. And there's so many opportunities for fine tuning technology around different needs. And those are great challenges to have. So we're excited to be a part of the greater pizza operator marketplace.
Yeah, those are good challenges. And I'm really glad that you are focusing on just sharing the principles really of the company and the founding. And that really is how you're moving forward in all that you do. You're keeping these things in mind. You're not going to, go against your principles for some profit motive or another motive. I mean, it's really foundational to who you are, and the fact that it's a family business and all of the different family members that want to be involved can benefit and participate at the same time. I mean, Jim has really just created something awesome, and I would say unusual in today's market. It's really nice to hear about the culture that you have going on there. That's really exciting. Well, are there any kind of fun projects that you have on the horizon that that you want to tell us about before we go?
Oh, wow. There's so many things we get, I could talk all day about all the little fun things that we get to jump into. Of course I mentioned the Smart Pep, and that's our big push right now is to continue with the Smart Pep store test and really get that onto the market. We're working on the next generation of the saucer, and working with a manufacturing partner that's very well regarded in the space to help us take this to the next level to fulfill orders for all of the stores and to start creating units that we can get into other pizza operators' kitchens. So yeah, all of the little pieces of getting getting these individual modular equipment pieces that really fit extremely well into a kitchen space. That's kind of the benefit of working with pizza operators. And, not only do we have Jim, who, comes into work every day, fired up, ready to create the future. But we are looking at, how do we create these individual modular pieces that are more accessible for the operator. Big systems that you'd have to blow out a wall and add on to the kitchen to add in don't really work, and they're just too big of a bite. So we're trying to piece together the appropriate combination of technology for our partner. In the future, something really fun is going to be linking those together and thinking about all of the ways that a pizza operation could work in a future landscape. So much talk about ghost kitchens, so much talk about different formats, and automation in the way that we're building it is going to be perfect for those future applications. And then really that smart platform that I brought up, what I think I'm most excited about there is just the endless opportunity to create tools that drive efficiency, that create exponential growth. And being a part of Donato's growth is a very exciting thing for us. Because Jim started with that one store in 1963, and now they're getting up into the 200s. And then Red Robin came along and added Donato's to the Red Robin menu. Now you've got Donato's Pizza on Red Robin menus expanding out to the West Coast. So we've got hundreds of new stores coming on, and there's deals that I can't talk about to expand even beyond our borders for Donato. So it's really an exciting time. Such a cool
exciting
company.
time, and I talked about what the future might hold. And as you were speaking and about the ghost kitchen, just putting the automation all together, once you get it to be a finely tuned product, you won't necessarily have to be just kind of retrofitting in current stores. I mean, as you're building new stores, will be considered on the front end of how do we want to build around the automation that we've got, and then leave the space for the employees to do the other things, just to have it all. You imagine if you could just design that space once you get, all the pieces that you want, or if you're ever going to have all the pieces that you want. I don't know. It seems like you're so creative, and you guys all have such an innovation mindset. I'm really looking forward to hearing what's going to be coming out of Agápe Automation and all that you're doing. It's going to be very fun to watch. I think. Forward.
Well, we're friends now, Pam, so we're going to stay in touch.
Well,
we're going to hear all about it.
Really appreciate you sharing all of the really neat and innovative things that you're doing with technology, and just rethinking the processes that go on in the food space, and improving on them, and allowing us to maximize our people power the best that we can too. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Hey, my pleasure, Pam. It was really great.
Thanks for listening to FutureFoodCast. FutureFoodCast is powered by Farm to Plate, the leading food blockchain platform. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to stay up to date with the very latest innovations in the food industry.